and welcome to another episode of Women in the Bar series on Verdictum, where we talk to women lawyers about their lives, their journeys, their struggles, and successes. And today, to share her story with us, we have advocate Archana Pathak. Ma'am is an advocate on record at the Supreme Court of India and started her litigation in the year 2003 after finishing her LLB from Rajasthan University, Jaipur, and LLM from LNV University, Jodhpur. She specializes in constitutional and criminal law. Welcome to Verdictum, ma'am. Pleasure to have you join us today.
Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Ma'am, please tell us about yourself. How did your journey begin in litigation and what or who was your motivation behind it?
Well, Ananya, it has been indeed a long, but I can say a very fulfilling journey for me till now in this profession. It's been almost 20 years. And well, I belong to a family of lawyers. So my father was in this profession. My grandfather was also in this profession. So the motivation, of course, came from the family. And my father is the biggest source of motivation for me. Initially, I was not very inclined to join the profession. And I always thought, doing something else, maybe, MBA and then go abroad or something. But my father always told me from the beginning that I see a spark of a lawyer in you. And I'm sure that if you take up this profession, you will like it, you will value it, and you'll also be satisfied because I know you. You are my daughter, and I know you from inside out. At that point in time, I did not give it, much of a thought. But as destiny took me, it just happened on its own. I came here after marriage. In fact, I got married very early. I was just in my third year of law when I got married. I finished my LLB after marriage. My husband is a big support, and my father told him that you also push her. Otherwise, I was happy, married and then just sitting at home and thinking that in litigation it will be really tough. And I thought that since I belong to Jaipur, and we came here to Delhi. There was no support system as such in the profession here in Delhi. So I thought it will be a very rigorous thing. I won't be able to cope up, and managing home and then litigation. Because I had seen my father and everyone in the family working so hard from morning till night. I said, I don't think so I can do it. I can even match up to that. So, but yeah, my father always encouraged me. My husband also encouraged me. He told me, at least you start and let's see how it goes. So that's all how I came. And I after I finished my LLB, I went back to Jaipur. Then I went to Jodhpur for my LLM. At that time, my father was posted there in Jodhpur. And while I was doing my LLM, I did my internships. I also I went to the high court, I went to the trial court, just to see how it goes, just to see whether I'm the right fit here. And then I came back to Delhi and just started work, and then it has been continuous since then.
Ma'am, not only as a lawyer but as a woman lawyer, what were the unique challenges that you faced?
Well, to succinctly put in clear words, Delhi is a place where there is, I really did not face any difference because I was a woman in law. I mean, I'm mostly in Supreme Court and Delhi High Court, and the judges, the lawyers, your colleagues, they are all they don't treat you differently just because you are a woman. I mean, I never felt that, but I've heard many stories. And of course, they're all true stories. I know it is difficult at times for women to say that, yes, you can do it. And that happened initially with me when I had just only started my practice, because my work mostly came from Rajasthan, and my when there were clients coming from Rajasthan, they it happened. I'll just share one incident with you. So there was one client who was referred to me by a lawyer in Rajasthan, and they gave the client my card, and the first thing he asked was, "Oh, ye didi karengi ye matter?" So, matlab, he was little hesitant, but then he said that at least, go and meet her. Maybe you will find that she's good and she can handle your case. So he said okay. So the first time when he came to me, he did not bring his file at all. I mean, he just came to see how a woman advocate would look like, how serious she would look, and whether it is worth handing over his file to a woman lawyer. So, and he was from one of the villages in Rajasthan. तो वो आके उन्होंने पूरा हर तरह से, बिकॉज सी जब क्लाइंट ट्रायल कोर्ट, हाई कोर्ट और फिर सुप्रीम कोर्ट आता है, सो ही नोज अ लॉट and he knows about his case. So he tried to kind of interrogate. Then he was asking questions about law, that this is the IPC section, आपको पता है ना ये वाला धारा है हमारे केस के अंदर. And after that, then he said, okay, I'll come back. And then he came back the next day itself and handed over his file to me. So थोड़ा अगर आप states में जाके देखें कई बार, तो वहां पे of course there is a difference. But as far as Delhi is concerned, Supreme Court is concerned, the atmosphere is very congenial. It is very inspiring. And we see a lot of women lawyers now. Of course, we know, we hear from our seniors that back then, maybe 30, 40 years back, it was not the situation. But if you see today's scenario, it is quite different. And I'm lucky, I can say, that I'm here in Delhi, I'm in the Supreme Court, Delhi High Court, where I haven't faced any such different attitude, or just the fact that I am a woman lawyer, they would treat me differently. But yes, one thing is sure, that I always keep in mind that when we stand up here and argue in the court, we are, it's not just a lawyer, but yes, we are also, there are many other young women who are looking up to us. So you always have to keep in mind that you are representing women of this country, women lawyers of this country. So we try and do our best. And there are interns roaming around in the court. There are young lawyers, young women lawyers roaming around in the court. And we try and make sure that they pick up positive points. They see positive things here, which inspire them, or at least they something that tells them to be in the profession. It's the right place for them.
Ma'am, a lot of times it has been seen that a lot of women have been told how to dress, smile more or less, not to wear makeup or wear makeup, and other things of that sort. I was wondering if you have ever been told something like this, and what are your thoughts on generally people telling women to do all these things?
Well, I'll start from my own experience. From the very beginning, I mean, when I was to start my practice, when I was to enter in the courts, my father is always very particular about the dressing sense, the kind of clothes that you wear. So he always told me that you have to wear clothes which are meant to be worn in the in the courts. So if it is a black and white dress code, you have to make sure that you wear a white crisp kurta or a shirt, whatever. But it has to be white, and your shoes or sandals, whatever you're wearing, they have to be clean and should not make much noise. Because when we walk in the courts, they are usually, there's silence there sometimes when there are arguments happening. So your shoes, try and make sure that they don't make much noise. So, and he told me that you have to always wear clean clothes. Maybe you just have 3 or 4 pair, doesn't matter, but whenever you wear, you should wear clean clothes. About makeup, well, nobody has told me yet anything, but I personally, if you ask for me, I feel you should be presentable. And I don't think so anybody should say any woman about wearing or not wearing makeup. Uh, as one feels comfortable, it should not be over. It should be, see, you are in a workplace, a very serious kind of a workplace. So it should never be something very over, but which you like, and it is reasonable, I believe. But yes, while moving in the corridors, I have seen some young women at times uh, wearing clothes which not proper, in the sense sometimes they would just roam around wearing a coat and a gown. Maybe they would take off their band, because they have come out of the court, thinking that we will wear it when we are inside the courtroom. So all these things, and I've seen the senior women here, the senior lady advocates, they sometimes very politely ask them that it is when you wear a band, then only wear a gown. If you're taking off your band, then take off your gown as well. So all these small things, but yes, they are very important to discipline yourself. It is very important that you follow them, and we have a dress code, so we should always respect that.
Ma'am, do you think that as a woman lawyer, there is an ecosystem where you need to prove yourself a lot more, even though you may be working as well as and as hard as your male counterparts?
Well, as a lawyer, you have to work hard. There is no shortcut here. Let's be very clear on that. Whether it is a man or a woman, in this profession, you have to work hard. If there is a case tomorrow coming up, you have to prepare it. And it is the same way how men prepare it and how we prepare it. But at times, as I told you earlier, we represent, and since we are not in majority, we are not even equal here. The number of women are still way less than men in the profession. So we represent that class, which is still trying to come up to that level of equal in number. So we have to see that we conduct ourselves in such a way which is inspiring for the younger women to come and to take up this profession. And yes, at times, few of my colleagues, they have shared their stories that they had to work a little more, or sometimes like I said, the clients, sometimes if they are coming from a rustic background, then because they haven't seen in the trial courts there a lot of women in the profession, so they at times want to see you working, and then only they would trust you with their cases. So that's there, but in Delhi, it's quite a congenial atmosphere, as I said earlier.
Ma'am, there's also a mentality that a man can do a better job in litigation field because of lack of emotional involvement, or that a woman lawyer will be emotionally vulnerable when handling a case. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't feel that way. I don't think that way. It's like, um, initially maybe, see, women by nature are emotional creatures. So initially, yes, maybe when we see cases of sexual abuse, domestic violence, sometimes we also get attached. Or a client comes and she is crying in front of you and she's telling her story, you become emotional. But that is only for a moment. That is just when you're talking to her and discussing her case. But when it comes to the arguments, it is the same, because it's the judge asking you questions and you are explaining and then putting your case forward. There it's only the legal thing that matters. Emotions, they don't, and in fact, the seniors whom we have worked with, they have told us that you should never play those. Some lawyers, they do that, they play the emotional cards, but it's never the right thing to do. So when we are in the courtroom, it's always the law that we are talking about, trying to keep emotions as low as possible. But again, there is a positive side also, being a woman in the profession. A lot of women, when they want to engage a lawyer, especially for their domestic violence cases or matrimonial cases, they prefer women lawyers because they feel that these women can understand their plight. After all, we are in the same environment. We are getting married and then going to other house, to your husband's house, then children. So they feel that the journey is the same, a journey of a woman, from getting married, then to for bearing kids, etc. It's the same. So they tend to have a greater faith in us.
Ma'am, with regards women rights, which case in your career do you consider a defining moment?
Well, I was a part, and I can say that I'm very lucky to be a part of the Babita Punya case, which is the Permanent Commission for Women in the Indian Army case. And that was really a turning point. When I saw these women fighting so hard in the courtroom, I mean, look, their journey started from 2005 and 2010, and then 2020, 21 in the Supreme Court, they got the final order for permanent commission. It was indeed a turning point for me because I seriously thought that these women, they really they had to struggle for something which was always legitimate. But still they had to go through such a long, arduous journey. But then I think it was a very well fought battle. I was a part of the team with many other senior colleagues. I had the learned ASG, who's ASG now, Aishwarya Bhati. And in fact, this journey was started by the then advocate, Ms. Rekha Palli, who's now a judge in the Delhi High Court, Justice Rekha Palli. She was there. A lot of other senior women, Minakshi Lekhi ma'am was there. So Minakshi Arora, senior advocate. So it was a great journey. I learned a lot through that. And it is one case which I thought that is a big, remarkable case in the history of getting fundamental rights for women. So we keep so many times we are just talking about fundamental rights and how we are equal. There should be equality, there should be equity. But this one case really changed my perception, and I really feel lucky to be a part of it.
Ma'am, if advocate Archana Pathak Dave had to summarize her incredible journey in a few words, how would you do it? And what was your main lesson throughout your journey?
Well, I feel I'm still a learner in the profession because this is a practice. We call it as a practice, and we keep learning by each passing day. It's called a profession. It's a noble profession. And there are a few things which have been told by my father, that you just keep doing your work. And no matter that there are successes, there are failures, but then you just do your work with utmost conviction, and things will follow. The result will follow. You don't have to run after things. It will follow. And he used to tell me initially that there are 3 stages in a lawyer's life. I would just share it for whosoever is interested. He told me that there are 3 phases in a lawyer's life. When you start, you have so much time with you, but there's no money. I mean, maybe you don't even have a case, or sometimes just one case and you're sitting with it and you're just working, but there is no money coming in. Then after a few years, there comes a phase where it's an equal situation. So you have work, you have some money also, you have some time also. But then after a few more years, there comes a situation when there's a lot of money, a lot of work, but no time. So don't run after even money, or even, sometimes we think a lot about matters coming in, new matters coming in. So don't bother about that. Keep doing your work. This profession is, it is fantastic. It has its own way, and you just walk through that path and success will come to you. So if you really ask me about my journey, there are so many people. I've been very, very lucky. The God has been kind. I've got good opportunities. Because see, there are people, I don't say that I where I am, it is all because of me, my hard work alone. No, it's not that. There are people who are better than me, but they don't get enough opportunities, or maybe there are not enough good people to guide them. So it is very important to listen to your elders, to listen to your seniors, and follow and try to at least try and listen, and think whatever they are saying is with their experience. So just try and follow that. God has been kind. I'm enjoying my work, enjoying my profession. It's been a wonderful journey, and I still feel I've only started. There is a long way to go, and we continue working.
Ma'am, would you advise young women lawyers to choose litigation? And what changes do you think can be brought to make this space gender neutral and more inclusive for women? Given the number of women that choose litigation is way less, as you mentioned, than men.
Yes, see, your first part of the question, would you advise? Yes, definitely. It is a profession which gives you immense satisfaction. Sometimes, there are cases which we are doing pro bono. You're not charging any money from the clients. The client belongs to a poor background, or, sometimes they come to our office and we feel that, no, we can't charge any fees from them. The case is genuine and the person doesn't have money. So we do that brief pro bono. The kind of satisfaction which gives you doing that matter is sometimes way, way more than maybe a matter where you have taken a good fees, and then you have appeared, and then maybe got a good order as well. But this is a profession which gives you that space to make a difference in the environment, to make a difference for you as a human being also, because the satisfaction that you get is immense. So it is important that you also stand. Sometimes you should also stand for those people who cannot go in the court of law because of their financial means. So I feel it is important to do such kind of work. It is for your own mental satisfaction, your own mental well-being, if I can say so. So yes, women should join this profession. It's a wonderful profession, and it all depends on how you take things. You have to be a little optimistic. I am a very optimistic person, so I try to see whatever positive I can in the worst of the situation I am in. I just see that, okay, even if this thing has gone wrong, maybe something better is in for me in this. So yes, the first part is that yes, I would definitely advise them. And what did you ask the next question about?
How do you think can this litigation space be more gender inclusive for women?
Uh, when you talk about gender inclusivity, as far as the infrastructure goes, I feel that still there are little infrastructural issues that we have in our courts. I'm not talking when I'm talking about these issues, I'm not talking about Delhi. In Delhi, I feel it is very good. The system, the infrastructure of everything is very good. But yes, if you go, once I had gone to argue in one of the high courts, and with my another woman colleague, and we were surprised to see that even there were not even uh, forget enough, but not even one good washroom where we could go during the lunch hour. And it was logged. It was kept in a lock, and we had to request the didi who was sitting there, and then she would come and open it. So infrastructure wise, you should have, see, these are the basic amenities one would need to work in a court. So infrastructure, I feel, yes, there has to be little, like, you should have at least one ladies bar room, even if it is not a very big room, but one ladies bar room is important to have in each court complex. Then washrooms. Then we have a lot of young mothers who are in the profession. See, the problem happens initially. We see a lot of the number of women who are coming to the profession initially is way more, but once they get married, then they have kids, then suddenly the women who are to join profession back, that decreases. So it is mainly because of these things, because when a woman is stepping out, then there are things that she needs to take care. uh, you should have those kind of facilities in the court premises which enable young women, or even caregivers for that matter. I'm not saying it's just the young women who need that kind of support, but suppose there are women who have old parents to look after, or you have old in-laws to look after. So for that, there has to be the right kind of facilities. Of course, now we have even the virtual mode, and it is a very, very positive step, I must say. Lot of even in the Supreme Court, I have interacted with so many young women who say that they could work without giving a break, only because of the video system, the video conferencing system that we have now in the Supreme Court, which is working so well. It is for Mondays and Fridays. It is an open for all, but otherwise for other days you have to, sometimes in some courts you have to take permission, but otherwise it is working very well. So you can take care of both the fronts. And we women, I tell you, we are multitaskers. This is something very positive which we have, and I say men don't. They are very bad at multitasking. I'm saying this out of my own experience with my colleagues at home and everywhere that I go. They usually, they work single-mindedly. Whereas when we work, we are already handling so many things, and we do it. I mean, that's maybe God has given us that ability. We are multitaskers, and we do that very nicely. So these are few things. If this video conferencing facility is also extended and is done the same way as it is done here in the Supreme Court, then I think even in these states, it will be a positive thing for women lawyers. And then there would be maybe the number of women who are dropping out, which would be much lesser than what it is today.
Ma'am, finally, to sum it all up, what words of wisdom would you like to share with all our young professionals?
Well, I belong to the traditional old school thought. And when I entered profession, my father told me, don't run after money. So if you are able to learn, but not get anything in return, it's fine. In this profession, I feel it is still that Guru Shishya Parampara, which is very which is rampant, or the system is the same. If you talk about the individual lawyers having the juniors in office, it is still that. When I was very young, I could see my grandfather. I mean, at that time, he used to sit on a takhat. There was no table and chair concept. He used to sit on a takhat with a chalky, and he used to have his juniors in the office. Sometimes they used to work till late, and my grandmother, she would serve them dinner, because that time they were all doing it on their own. There were no cooks in the house. So my grandmother always make it a point to make extra meals every time, because she knew that there would be some or the other junior who would be either staying for the night, they would be reading, or he would be eating with my grandfather. So that was the kind of, and my grandfather could tell him anything. I mean, apart from work, sometimes whatever household things that, when you are coming tomorrow, get this also. So it was like a family environment. Sometimes those juniors were more closer than their own kids. So that is the one thing I would want to tell them, that if you get a senior where you feel that the opportunity of learning is immense, but maybe we don't call it a salary here. It is always a stipend, because there are the seniors in the profession told me that one should never be running after money. That is one. And the other thing is, you should never get this hang of a salary getting in your account after every month, because then there'll be you would not be looking around for cases, for matters, because you'll be comfortable that after this month, this is something that I'm 100% I'm going to get. So that thing, I think the juniors nowadays should keep this little thing in mind. Of course, I know it is very difficult, but initial years, it is more of hard work, more of learning. And you should always see that you learn so that you can you can work independently after a few years. In litigation, one should try to visualize 5 years. There should be 5-year goals. So 5 years hence. And that means that you should be able to handle cases on your own. So that would be one thing that I would want to tell my younger colleagues, that if you are good enough, then money will automatically come to you. So no need to worry about that. But this profession takes time. It is like a tortoise and a hare race. So the tortoise, though initially is walking very slowly, but reaches up till the end. So that should be the spirit. You should continue working and try and see things which makes you happy in the profession. Some people, see, there are so many things in this profession which you can do. Some people are very good in drafting, and as soon as you start working, your strengths and weaknesses. So try and develop more on your strength. Of course, you should also work upon your weaknesses, but if you know that I'm very good in drafting, so just try and build that as your very strong forte. And the other things, you should know about each and every aspect of litigation, but there are people who are very good in research work. A lot of young colleagues whom I meet these days, they are very good in research. And some are very good in drafting. Some are very good if you tell them that, this is the matter and tell me how would you propose to start in the courts. They are very good in arguments. So just try and see which is your best strength, work on it. And there is so much in this profession that you can do. There's no dearth of opportunities.
Ma'am, thank you so much for sharing your journey and inspiring upcoming lawyers and motivating women lawyers. It was a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, Ananya. It was all my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And with that, I, Ananya Singh, thank you for watching Verdictum. Please share and subscribe to our channel for more such content, and download the Verdictum app on iOS and Android to keep yourself updated with authentic legal news.